Hi, Coastline Small Group. Thank you so much for having me here with you. It's so fun to be here. My name is Carrie, and I'm one of the pastors here at Coastline Church. And so we are in the series called Who is This King? And we are in week 2. And I would like to refer back to Helena's message, and it's titled The Zeal of God. So there's this song titled Catch Me Singing, and the bridge goes like this. I would have sang it to you, but I think my throat is not doing well. The line says, "You've been God for a long time. You're the final word. You're the finish line. Everything is going to be all right. You've been God for a long time." And so going back to Isaiah 9, imagining the scene when the prophet Isaiah was prophesying during what we might call a national meltdown. And the book of Isaiah is filled with Israel's sin, rebellion, warning of their coming judgment. And I'm here to encourage you and talk about this. And people have turned away from God and failed in their responsibilities as His children. And it sounds familiar, right? In the mix of warnings, rebellions, national meltdown, chaos, of course, there is a message of hope. And in Isaiah 9, it says, "Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who were in distress. In the past, He humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the future, He will honor Galilee of the nations, by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan." And here in verse 2, "The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For as in the day of the Medians' defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire." And here it is, "For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." And it's a feel-good message for some as Christmas time comes closer. And it is a message of hope for this nation, a nation that's experiencing a national meltdown, a nation that is blind of their need for God. But for us who believe, it is a message of life. And as I continue in verse 7, "Of the greatness of His government and peace there will be no end." What a message of hope. He will reign on David's throne and over His kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. And this part is where we will focus. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. And in Hebrew, the word zeal means jealousy. The jealous, passionate commitment of the Lord of Heaven's armies will make this happen. So I hope you see that picture in the midst of sin, chaos, national meltdown, that the hope of God is still there. And God's eyes and commitment and heart is on His people. So God's zeal, His passion is totally different from human passion. Our passion as humans, it can fade. We can feel discouraged and it can be self-centered. So we can trust God's passion to establish His reign, not only in this world, but also in our hearts. So I just want to share a short 2 points with you, that God's zeal, His jealous, passionate commitment, turns promises into reality. And this verse came to mind when I was reflecting on Isaiah 9. But God demonstrated His love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And that is fast forwarding. I would say, some people would say it's between 600 to 700 years from Isaiah to the time of Jesus. And time is not a problem with God. And so God's zeal, his passionate commitment, turns his promises into reality. And maybe God has a promise for you and you're still waiting for it to turn into a reality. Know that you can trust him. You can trust his word. And the second one is God is the king whose zeal transforms darkness into light. And we can see that. We can see God's zeal in our lives. We have been living separated from God, but when the light of Jesus comes into our lives, he changes everything. And so I would say our God, the passionate commitment of Jesus is still transforming lives, and making it personal. He is transforming our entire lives, even until now. And maybe a question for you will be, what is God doing in you? What is he transforming in you? It can be a mindset, it can be a situation, it can be your relationship with him or your relationship with someone else. But he is actively involved. He's very passionate. And I was just thinking of reflecting on my life as well, that the zeal, that our God is super passionate, that he'll never give up. He'll keep running up after us. And that's how much God loves you and me. So maybe for you who are in the midst of chaos, similar with the nation of Israel, or maybe going through a meltdown, or the unknown, or the waiting, my invitation for you is to hope and to trust in God, who zealously loves you and the people around you. So I hope this message gives you encouragement and turns your heart towards the one who is so much passionately committed to you. Thank you, church.